Hey man, I need you to listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this is going to change how you see yourself forever. Most guys walk around completely clueless about their real impact on women. They think they're just another face in the crowd, just another guy trying to get by. But what if I told you that you might be the guy women think about when they're alone, the one they fantasize about, the one they imagine when they close their eyes at night? See, here's what most men don't understand. Women have a completely different relationship with attraction than you think. It's not just about looks. It's not about money. It's not about what car you drive. It goes deeper than that. Way deeper. And today, I'm going to break down the 8 undeniable signs that prove you're living in their minds rent-free. Listen, this isn't some feel-good nonsense. This is psychology. This is the raw truth about what makes a woman's mind race when she thinks about you. So pay attention, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly where you stand. And trust me, once you see these signs, you'll never question your worth again. Let's get into it. The first sign: she remembers details about you that you forgot you ever said. You ever have a conversation with a woman and weeks later she brings up something you mentioned in passing? Something so small you don't even remember saying it. Maybe you mentioned you liked a certain type of coffee, or you told a quick story about your childhood, and then boom, out of nowhere, she references it like it was burned into her memory. That's not coincidence, my guy. That's obsession. When a woman is fantasizing about you, she's not just thinking about your body. She's replaying every word, every gesture, every moment you shared. She's analyzing it, dissecting it, savoring it like a fine wine. Most guys, they talk and forget. But when you're the fantasy guy, she's taking mental notes. She's building a catalogue of everything that makes you, you. And here's the kicker. She's doing this unconsciously. She doesn't even realize she's memorizing your words because her mind is already claiming you as hers. So if you've ever been shocked by how much a woman remembers about you, how she brings up conversations from months ago like they happened yesterday, that's because you've been living in her head this whole time. She's been replaying those moments over and over. The second sign: she gets nervous around you but tries to hide it. Now this one's tricky because you might think nervousness means she's not into you. But that's where you're wrong. When a woman fantasizes about you, being around you becomes intense. It's like meeting a celebrity, someone you've thought about so much that the real thing feels overwhelming. Watch for the subtle signs. She'll fidget with her hair, adjust her clothes, stumble over words that normally come easy to her. She might avoid eye contact, or she might stare too long. Either way, she's not acting normal, and that's because you're not normal to her. You're special. I had a friend who told me about this woman at his work. Every time he walked by her desk, she'd suddenly get busy with her computer, or start organizing papers that were already organized. At first he thought she didn't like him, but then he realized she was doing this because she couldn't handle the intensity of his presence. When you're someone's fantasy, your mere existence becomes a trigger for all the thoughts she's been having about you. She gets nervous because she's afraid you might somehow read her mind, see all the things she's been imagining. So if you notice a woman acting differently around you, more scattered, more self-conscious, more aware of herself, that's not disinterest. That's the opposite. She's trying to manage the chaos you create in her mind. The third sign: she finds excuses to touch you. Listen, touch is the most honest form of communication a woman can give you. When she's fantasizing about you, her body craves contact. Even the smallest, most innocent touch becomes electric for her. Maybe she touches your arm when she's talking to you. Maybe she gives you longer hugs than necessary. Maybe she finds reasons to brush against you in passing. These aren't accidents. These are her body's way of getting a taste of what she's been imagining. And here's what makes this even more powerful. She's not doing it consciously most of the time. Her subconscious mind is driving her to make contact because she's been thinking about touching you so much that when the opportunity comes up, she can't help herself. You ever notice how some women just seem to naturally find ways to be physical with you while others keep their distance? The ones who find excuses to touch you, they're the ones who have been imagining what your skin feels like, what your body would feel like against theirs. And the crazy part is, each time she touches you, she's collecting data. She's feeding her fantasies with real sensations, real textures, real warmth that she can replay later when she's alone. The fourth sign, she asks you deep personal questions. When a woman is fantasizing about you, she doesn't just want your body, she wants your mind, your soul, your story. She becomes genuinely fascinated by who you are beneath the surface. If you've ever had a woman ask you about your childhood, your dreams, your fears, your past relationships in a way that feels more intense than casual conversation, that's because she's not making small talk. She's gathering intelligence. She's trying to understand the man she can't stop thinking about. These questions come from a place of genuine hunger to know you completely. Because in her fantasies, you're not just a physical presence. You're a whole person with depth, complexity, mystery. And she wants to uncover every layer. Normal conversation is surface level, but when you're someone's fantasy, they dig deeper. They want to know what makes you tick, what drives you, what haunts you, what excites you. They're not just attracted to you, they're obsessed with understanding you. So if you find yourself in conversations that go from zero to deep real quick, if she's asking you things that feel almost too personal for how long you've known each other, that's because you've captured more than her attention. You've captured her imagination. The fifth sign, she mirrors your energy and adopts your interests. Here's something most guys miss. When a woman is fantasizing about you, she unconsciously starts becoming more like you. She'll start listening to music you mentioned. She'll develop interests in things you're passionate about. She'll even start using phrases you use. This isn't her trying to impress you. This is her mind naturally gravitating toward everything that represents you, because she's been thinking about you so much that you've become part of her mental landscape. I know a guy who mentioned he was into rock climbing once. Just mentioned it in passing. And this woman, who had never shown any interest in physical activities, suddenly started talking about wanting to try it, started following climbing accounts on social media, started asking him about gear and techniques. That's not coincidence. That's her subconscious mind trying to get closer to you in every way possible. When you're someone's fantasy, they don't just want to be with you. They want to be connected to your world, your interests, your energy. So if you notice a woman suddenly developing interests that align with yours, suddenly caring about things she never cared about before, suddenly seeming to speak your language, that's because you've infected her mind in the best possible way. The sixth sign, she creates opportunities to be alone with you. When a woman fantasizes about you, being in group settings isn't enough. She needs one-on-one time. She needs to be in your presence without distractions, without other people diluting the experience. Maybe she suggests grabbing coffee just the two of you. Maybe she offers to help you with something that doesn't really require help. Maybe she invites you to events where it'll just be you and her. These aren't random social gestures. These are calculated moves to get you alone. Because here's the thing. When you're someone's fantasy, group interactions are torture. She's sitting there surrounded by other people, wanting nothing more than to have your undivided attention, to be the only person in your field of vision. She creates these opportunities because she's been imagining what it would be like to have you all to herself, and she needs to test that fantasy against reality. She needs to see if the chemistry she feels is real, or just in her head. And most of the time, when she finally gets you alone, that's when the real intensity shows up. That's when you see the way she looks at you when nobody else is watching. That's when you feel the electric tension she's been carrying around. The seventh sign, she gets jealous when you mention other women. Jealousy is one of the most honest emotions a woman can display. When you're someone's fantasy, the thought of you with another woman doesn't just make her uncomfortable, it makes her feel physically sick. You might mention a female friend, a coworker, an ex-girlfriend in casual conversation, and watch her face change. Watch her body language shift. Watch her energy drop. She might try to hide it, but jealousy is hard to mask. This happens because in her mind, you're already hers. She's been fantasizing about you being with her so much that the idea of you being with someone else feels like betrayal, even though you're not actually together. She might ask subtle questions about these other women. She might make comments that seem innocent, but are actually fishing for information. She wants to know if these women are threats to the relationship that exists in her mind. And here's the powerful part. This jealousy often motivates her to make a move. She realizes that if she doesn't act on her feelings, Someone else might capture what she's been dreaming about. So if you notice a woman getting weird when you mention other women, getting quiet or asking pointed questions, or suddenly seeming less interested, that's not her being dramatic. That's her protecting something she considers hers. The eighth and final sign, she finds ways to stay connected to you constantly. When you're someone's fantasy, she can't just turn off her feelings when you're not around. She needs constant connection, constant contact, constant reminders that you exist. Maybe she texts you random things throughout the day. Maybe she sends you memes or articles she thinks you'd like. Maybe she comments on your social media posts consistently. These aren't just friendly gestures. These are her way of maintaining the connection that feeds her fantasies. She might have legitimate reasons for reaching out, but the real reason is she can't go too long without some form of contact with you, because you've become like a drug to her, and she needs regular doses to function. You ever notice how some women just seem to always be in your messages? Always finding reasons to start conversations? Always available when you reach out? That's because you've become a priority in her mind, not just a casual acquaintance. And the crazy thing is, she's probably not even aware of how much she's reaching out to you, because it feels natural to her. You've become such a part of her mental world that staying connected feels necessary, not optional. Look, man, here's what you need to understand. Being someone's fantasy isn't about being perfect. It's about being magnetic. It's about having that indefinable quality that makes a woman's mind wander to you when she's supposed to be thinking about other things. And if you're seeing these signs, if you recognize yourself in these behaviors, you're witnessing something powerful. You're seeing proof that you have an impact on women that goes beyond the surface level, beyond casual attraction. But here's the thing. With great power comes great responsibility. When you realize you're someone's fantasy, you have a choice. You can use that knowledge to build something real and meaningful, or you can ignore it and let opportunities slip away. Most guys, they get so caught up in wondering if they're attractive enough, interesting enough, worthy enough, that they miss the signs that are right in front of them. They miss the evidence that they're already everything a woman could want. So pay attention to how women react to you. Pay attention to the details, the behaviors, the subtle signs that reveal what's really going on in their minds. Because once you see it, once you understand your own power, you'll never question your worth again. And remember, this isn't about ego. This isn't about thinking you're better than other guys. This is about recognizing your value, understanding your impact, and using that knowledge to create the connections you actually want. Because here's the final truth. Women don't fantasize about perfect men. They fantasize about real men who make them feel something. Men who create an emotional response. Men who stick in their minds long after the conversation is over. And if you're seeing these signs in your life, if women are remembering your words, touching you, asking you deep questions, mirroring your interests, creating alone time, getting jealous, and staying connected, then congratulations, my guy. You're already that man. You're the one they think about when they're alone. You're the one they imagine when they close their eyes. You're the one living in their minds rent-free. And that's not something you can fake. That's not something you can force. That's something you either have or you don't. So stop questioning yourself. Stop wondering if you're good enough. Stop looking for validation from outside sources, because the evidence is right there in how women respond to you. And once you fully accept that, once you own that power, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop chasing and start choosing. That's when you stop hoping and start knowing. Look, I know this might sound too good to be true. I know you might be thinking this doesn't apply to me. But I'm telling you right now, if even one of these signs resonates with your experience, if you've seen even one of these behaviors in the women around you, then you need to wake up to your own power. Because the world is full of men who never realize their worth, who never understand their impact, who never see the signs that are right in front of them. Don't be one of those guys. Start paying attention. Start recognizing the signals. Start understanding that you might already be everything you've been trying to become. And when you finally see it, when you finally accept it, when you finally own it, that's when you stop being the guy who wonders if he's attractive and start being the guy who knows he is. That's when you stop being the guy who hopes for attention and start being the guy who commands it. That's when you stop being the guy who chases fantasies and start being the guy who creates them. So, my guy, pay attention to the signs, because they're there, whether you see them or not. And once you do see them, once you understand what they mean, everything changes. Everything changes.